Good evening, teachers. I would like to welcome you all to our talk today with Dr. Laura Backer from the City University of New York on our Teaching English online program, which will be sponsored by NAFOCAN soon. I would like to thank you all for joining us today, and I'm going to start my brief presentation right away. Thank you all for being so punctual. Lots of people are trying to sign in, so let's just go one step at a time so they can all join us. It is an honor to have you all with us today, and I hope you'll enjoy this presentation. With us today is Dr. Laura Backer from Hunter College, the City University of New York, who will be talking to you very soon. We also have Congresswoman Serviairis Familia, who is a diasporic congresswoman in New York for the Dominican Republic. Today, we'll have a brief talk with her. It's just going to be a few more minutes. But this program is part of a very long-lasting effort to improve English language learning in public schools in the Dominican Republic. For the last 20 years, we've been striving to improve the conditions for English language teaching and learning. And this is just part of a big effort we're putting together just to make sure that poor children and the majority of public school students in the Dominican Republic actually get to learn English in public education, which is being a long-lasting wish and desire for all Dominican families. Before we go ahead in English, I would like to make a stop in Spanish and welcome our Congresswoman. She is Deputy Serviairis Familia. Antes de continuar, me gustaría pedirle a la diputada Serviairis Familia, por favor, que encienda su micrófono para que pueda conversar con nosotros. Permítanme habilitarla a ella primero, para que pueda dirigirnos unas palabras. La diputada Serviairis Familia es la proponente del proyecto de ley de inglés como segunda lengua para la República Dominicana. Diputada, por favor, encienda su micrófono. Le estoy dando el permiso ahí para que lo haga. Ella, conjuntamente con otros congresistas de la República Dominicana, han estado apoyando esta iniciativa. Diputada, por favor, a ver si puede.
¿Me escuchan?
Le escuchamos.
Sí, buenas tardes. Muy contenta por esta iniciativa de que este grupo de profesores con esta conferencia, porque de verdad para mí es un motivo de satisfacción que se estén dando estos pasos para que se implemente la educación en el currículum de educación, el inglés como una segunda lengua. Todos sabemos lo que significa esto y por años hemos tenido esa pequeña retranca, podríamos decir, que nuestros bachilleres salen de las escuelas sin hablar inglés. Entonces yo creo que ahora estamos cambiando y que vamos a tener esa oportunidad de que nuestros estudiantes van a tener un mundo más abierto para su vida y su quehacer profesional.
Diputada, usted que emigró a Estados Unidos desde acá hace muchos años, ¿por qué a usted le interesa tanto que los niños aprendan inglés en la escuela como una ley ya en este país?
Fíjese, tuve la oportunidad y diría que la frustración de llegar acá a este país con todas las profesiones que se pueden hacer en la República Dominicana y yo no pude insertarme en la vida productiva de acá con las carreras que tuve. Entonces, siempre he tenido ese objetivo de que en la República Dominicana las personas que emigren acá no pasen lo mismo que yo pasé cuando llegué acá al país. Gracias a Dios pude superarme en otras áreas, pero no tengo un inglés fluente como para yo hacer cosas, ejercer una carrera. Entonces, esos fueron uno de los objetivos y el interés que me motivó a promover esta ley como el bilingüismo en la República Dominicana.
Muy bien, pues nosotros desde tanto la Asociación de Docentes de Inglés de la República Dominicana como desde Professional Training Systems Estamos muy contentos con que una congresista de nuestro país, sobre todo alguien que está en la diáspora, que ha podido vivir la realidad de la necesidad del aprendizaje de inglés, esté impulsando y apoyando leyes como esta. Cuente con el apoyo de todos nosotros y le agradecemos realmente de corazón todo el esfuerzo que está haciendo para tratar de que se inicie una nueva era en el aprendizaje y la enseñanza de inglés a través de este proyecto de ley, el cual nosotros desde Dominican Republic TEFLO hemos tenido la oportunidad de ver y revisar y hemos apoyado. Así que este programa que nosotros hoy en día estamos iniciando, que vamos a iniciar prontamente a través del Instituto Nacional de Formación y Capacitación del Magisterio, el INAFOCAM, que es parte del Ministerio de Educación, es un paso más hacia esa meta de lograr que en nuestro país el inglés sí se convierta eventualmente en una segunda lengua. Muchísimas gracias, diputada, por sus palabras y puede quedarse con nosotros para que escuche un poco sobre este programa que intentamos hacer conjuntamente con Hunter College de la Universidad del Estado de Nueva York. Gracias por estar con nosotros. So basically, this program is part, again, of a long-lasting effort to make English language teaching and learning possible in public schools. At Professional Training Systems, we have been working for 13 years on continuing education programs with INAFOCAM, that's part of the Teacher Training Institute for the Ministry of Education. For the last 13 years, we've worked with over 10 regional offices, and we have trained over 1,700 teachers nationwide, English teachers. Now, this program is part of that big effort we've been working on for the last decade. And we hope that in this new context, the context of distance education, the context of hybrid education, and everything that the coronavirus pandemic has brought about, we consider it very important, actually indispensable, to get a training like this. This training is part of the upcoming year situated learning solution that we have proposed to the Ministry of Education as a solution to finally getting English to be an important subject and to be learned in public education in the Dominican Republic. What we have proposed to the Ministry of Education to improve English language learning in the country is basically a school center situated English learning program, which will address teacher training, the resources for teaching and learning, school management and support, and monitoring, supervision, and evaluation. This is just a brief introduction to this program because actually Dr. Laura Backer from the University of New York will be talking to you now, and she will be addressing the highlights of this program that we have actually proposed to you. Now I will give the floor to Dr. Laura Backer. Laura, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
All right.
Estoy aquí. Estoy aquí con
maravilloso
ustedes.
español. That's great Spanish.
No, I'm sure, Servia, your English is much better than my Spanish, mucho mejor que mi español. I see Conrado, hello. And hello, if I have met you, I have had the wonderful opportunity to visit your country a couple of times with other English language teachers. And well, we feel a very close relationship in New York City with the Dominican Republic. Of course, you are our number one population here. You shape the culture, the heart, the rhythm of our city. And you know the movie In the Heights is out now. I know Lin-Manuel is from that other place, but still, it's really about the Dominican Republic. And I want to really salute you because this has been an unbelievable year. We have focused so much on our students, our families, but what about the teachers? What about the teachers? And I love something that Juan says, which is teachers are never the problem. They're always the solution. And so I am so honored to be able to be part, a little part of your journey. And I know you're tired. You are thinking, oh, I have to teach online. I have to continue in this way. But I think it's a great opportunity also for us to come together and really use this time to better prepare you to work with your students. So I am going, you know what? I do think I need to be able to share my screen, Juan. I'm not seeing that yet.
Yeah,
but
you're a co-host. You're actually a co-host. You can actually share it now.
Oh, perfect. So I want to just share not really a PowerPoint.
Okay, now I got it. Yeah, you're showing there. You're sharing now.
Perfect. So just more of just to orient you a little bit to ¿qué es esto, este curso? ¿Qué vamos a hacer? ¿Qué vamos a aprender? ¿Por qué estamos en este curso? Okay, so I want to explain a little about it. And I want to begin with asking you a question. So, por favor, si pueden abrir el chat and you can poner your answers in English or in Espanol. Okay, if it's in Espanol, make it simple for me because I'm a learner.
No, it actually has to be in English, Laura.
Oh, you can't write it in Spanish?
No, it's one of the rules of this program. This is an English teachers program, so it all has to be in English.
Okay, so but we don't worry about any grammar. Just put your ideas. So thinking about what we call your why, your por qué. ¿Por qué estamos aquí? Why do we care? We just heard from Servia how she came to this country to make a better life and how English was such a barrier, for her, that she still feels, wow, I really wish I could have become bilingual and more confident in my English. So your students, they're not going to leave the Dominican Republic. They might stay, have jobs, careers, but why? Why do you feel English is important for your students? If you can put any ideas into the chat, I would love to see a lot of ideas coming in. So I'm going to give you a minute, open your chat and say why. Why do students that you work with, do you think, why do they need to learn English? Let's go back to the beginning there. So I'll give you a moment in the chat. Okay, and any ideas? And you can be very specific, you can be very general. What's the why? Okay, so we're seeing some of your thoughts come in. I'm going to give you a moment to do that. That's a beautiful... Oh, I wonder if that's my friend Kenya. Okay, a new language that will open doors that they think are closed to them. A lingua franca, right? So back in Roman times, we had Latin, and you have a big advantage in Spanish because you're very close to Latin. But now we have really English, right? So this is a language that we see being used so much in the workforce, in science, in education, business, pretty much all the professions. So we want to open professions to our students. They love to sing because culture, there's so much culture, whether it's television, movies, songs, music, to connect with others. And we know we want to advance this idea of el bilingüismo, right? Bilingualism. We want that too in New York. We want every student in New York to graduate high school fully bilingual, whether they started with Spanish and they add English, or they start with English and they add Mandarin Chinese or Spanish or French. We know that this is something that opens doors to, well, jobs, but also the community of the world. So don't you feel now, after this pandemic, that there are no borders anymore. There's no boundaries. We can be together even across the Dominican Republic, right? You're in all different places. It's not easy to travel, to be part or meet other teachers. But this platform, this space, this online space, what we call a third space, it's not your school, it's not my university. We're coming together here. And as an English language teacher, you face the same challenges. You confront the same concerns as English teachers everywhere in every country of the world, because we know at this moment, millions of people are learning English. They're in classrooms from China to Costa Rica to the Dominican Republic. And this is a great opportunity for you as teachers also to be able to connect in this moment. So you've given some beautiful ideas, and I think it's important to remember how vital, how essential you are in the future of your individual students, but also for your country, because your students cannot advance economically, educationally, socially without bilingualism. And we want that for them. No other teacher can give that to them except for you. So you play such an important role. And what I hope to do in our time together is to give you more tools, more sophistication, more resources, and more confidence that it's not about being a perfect English speaker. You know, it's about using the English you have to continue to advance yourself and your students through really strong teaching techniques. And I'm excited to let you have a chance to share with each other, because you already do so much. You have so many ideas. You have so much heart and creativity, and we're going to hopefully bring that energy together. So on the slide, you see a timeline. So the very first step that I'm going to ask you to take is to complete a questionnaire. So if you go to, and I'm going to give you a link to this Padlet. I'm going to probably try to put that in everyone. Here we go. So you in the chat have a link to the Padlet. And the first item there, if you can do that sometime tonight or while we're here on this call, tell us a little more about you and your situation, and that will help us a lot to prepare the course. The second item here is a little bit about the course. So I'll just briefly show you that. And I had a lot of fun looking at some of my photos from my last trip. And probably Juan knows exactly where this picture is taken. And I look a little bit younger and maybe a few pounds less from that day. But I just love meeting your students. I want to tell you that I started teaching English as a second language in 1994 in Dominican Heights. All my students were Dominican. And from there, I moved into different jobs of teaching. But I have a very special feeling for Dominican students in New York. And it was so interesting to be able to go to high schools and elementary schools in your country to see the light, the air, the beauty, the openness, the green. And I understood why it was so hard to come to a New York City school after growing up in your very warm and very just friendly environments, which some of our New York City schools are not quite that way. So I'm going to just tell you briefly, you already know the need. You live with the need. You understand the need for English much better than anyone. So we're going to find that energy for this learning from that need. And we're hoping to serve about 300 teachers over the course of this program. This is a partnership program between me and Hunter College, which is located in Manhattan. It's part of the City University of New York. And with obviously Dr. Juan Valdez and Professional Training Systems and I have been president of New York State TESOL. He's the executive director of the Dominican Republic TESOL. So we're also very invested in the professional advancement of teachers. So it's a strong partnership. We've worked together for some years now. I am inviting 7 other instructors to support me. And I've chosen them because they have been teachers online all year. They've taught in kindergarten, elementary, middle, and high school with students who don't have internet, who don't have computers, who don't have devices, in a lot of ways, a very similar situation to you, so they can share some of the things that they've been doing. So I'm excited about you meeting a lot of these other New York teachers and professors in the program. We're going to be working for 7 weeks, and that's running from June 28th to August 12th. And every week, we're going to be meeting live here on Zoom. We're also going to be interacting with each other using things like Padlet or WhatsApp, but we're not going to get crazy with tools because you don't need a lot of tools. What you need is a lot of techniques to exploit and utilize the tools you have. So we're going to expose you to some simple tools, but also really think about teaching listening, teaching reading, teaching writing, teaching speaking, pronunciation, grammar, assessment, all the things you do in language teaching, but how do you bring those to life online? How do you create this community where you see students moving forward in their English online? So we will be involved with WhatsApp. We're going to create communities. So there'll be a lot of intensive interaction for those 7 weeks. You're going to be developing lessons and small units that you can actually use in your own classrooms. So you're not writing theory papers. It's all practical, things that you can use. And if all 300 people create units of study to teach English online, you have 299 units that you can take for you. So it's going to be a place to share what we create and hopefully make it a little easier for you when you come back and start to apply these in your next round of teaching. So I'm going to stop sharing. You probably, or maybe you have algunas preguntas. Por favor, put them in the chat if you have questions, if you have any comments, ideas, anything like that. We want to hear about them. And with that, I hope that gave you a little bit of feeling for what it will be like. We are going to make it fun. Hopefully you're not going to fall asleep during the Zoom. We're going to be active, and also que no tengan vergüenza de su inglés, okay? Because mira mi español. Estamos siempre aprendiendo. You never finish. You're always learning. So we want everyone to have a voice, everyone to participate. It's not judging your English, level. It's really to get you to practice your English as you learn and improve your teaching practice. So thank you so much, Juan.
All righty, so let's go ahead with the content. Can you see my screen? I'd like to talk to you about the program, which is basically a 7-week program, and the modules in the program as well. Laura made it very clear. This program is about teaching. It's about teaching and learning. It's about techniques. This program is not about applications. You've seen my work just before, but I said the program about learning with technology is not technology, it's pedagogy. So this program is mostly about that. It's about pedagogy, teaching, and learning. What do you need to know to teach efficiently in a distance education program? And again, the issue is not which application you use or which technology you use, but the issue here is pedagogy. I always say pedagogy before technology. So this program will have the final syllabus like this. First of all, we'll have the introduction and conditions for language learning online. What are the conditions required? What is needed? That's module number 1 for learning online. Then the second module, which will begin on July 5th, most likely, is basically an activity plan for online speaking tasks. We will basically go through all 4 language skills. The 4 language skills will be addressed basically in teaching and learning the 4 language skills. The 4th module is basically on principles and approaches in teaching pronunciation skills online. How do you teach listening and speaking online if your students can't even speak the language? These are issues we'll have to address and discuss. The 5th module will be on the principles and approaches to teaching vocabulary. So this program is going to go step by step on teaching the language skills online or in any distance education program, because in this case, in our country, we have television, we have the radio, we have some platforms, but basically most of the material is addressed online or should be addressed online. The next module is basically an activity plan for an online reading and writing project. In this program, this is going to be a PBL approach. It's going to be a project-based, problem-based program where you will have to also address that. I'm going on the first column. Then another one is basically the principles and approaches in teaching speaking skills online, principles and approaches in teaching listening skills, also reading and writing. All 4 language skills will be addressed. Then you will have to provide feedback on writing samples and projects. And on module number 9, we'll have backwards design and unit planning for English language development. Also, another module is basically incorporating grammar across the 4 language skills. And the last module is very important. It's basically on developing your professional identity in TESOL. One of the issues we have to develop in this country, basically, is the identity for English language learning and teaching. And that depends a lot on teachers' self-identity. In this country, most people do not value English language learning as a real subject in schools. In 1961, English was officially introduced as a subject in the Dominican school system. But still today, 60 years later, most families, most students, and most people in this country do not believe it is possible to learn English in school. So they don't pay much attention to it. So developing a professional identity is so important for English language teachers, and it's going to serve the purpose of also creating awareness and raising awareness in the general population. The course is going to be done on live synchronous class sessions, but you will also have asynchronous sessions with the course material and shared discussion board on a Padlet application. We will also have, as Laura stated, the WhatsApp groups in the program. But this is meant to be an interactive, experience-based program. And what we need is your participation, your ideas, your contributions. This is meant to be a very, again, interactive program. And we need to learn about your reality and what you think you need to learn as we go through the program. Something very important I would like to also highlight is that we have had over 500 applicants to this program. And before I go ahead, let me stop this so that you can talk to me directly. We have over 500 people who have applied for the program. But I would like to make it very clear that we only have 300 scholarships. I guess one of our guests tonight is Louis. Louis from Inafocampo. He's also an English teacher, which is great. And one of the things we need to actually, again, reiterate is that the program is only for 300 people. And the list of applicants has already been sent to all the regional offices. We have sent the database with your registration applications all throughout the country. The 18 regionals have received it, and they will be contacting you. So the actual registration will be done at your district or regional office, because in the end, it's Inafocam, the one that decides who is going to participate and who is not, because they have to filter the applications. They have to filter the applications, and they have to decide whether or not you are an active teacher teacher, that is, whether or not you are a public school teacher, because in the database that we received, we had a lot of people from the private sector. So I would like to reaffirm the fact that this program is only for public school teachers. So if you are not a public school teacher and you register for the program, unfortunately, you cannot participate. Now, if you are an English teacher and you are appointed as a teacher, you have all the rights to take part in the program. And since we have over 500 applications, I would strongly recommend that you reach out to your regional office, you go to your district office, and you express that you have registered for the program and you would like to get the scholarship. But basically, INAFOCAN already has a database with your applications on the 18 regionals in the country. So at this moment, I would like to take the time to listen to your comments, your questions, and let's talk about the program. What questions do you have? And what would you like to know about the development of the same? Now, this is a time to raise your hand. I'm going to allow everyone to actually participate. And I would like to strongly require that you please keep your microphones off unless you have a question. All right? Now, this is a time for your comments and questions because I don't see many on the chat box. If you have questions, comments, or ideas, just raise your hand and turn on your microphone. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
And thank you for doing the questionnaire as well. It is in the chat. It's very short, so you can also complete that while you are at work. Thank you.
Okay, we have a question from Nicolas Rodriguez has raised his hand. Nicolas, now you can actually ask your question.
Good evening, Mr. Valdez and everybody else. My question is, when does the program officially start?
The introduction to the program will be on June 28th, and the program is meant to start the first week, the first Friday in June. That's June 5th. We are expecting INAFOCAN to give us the final approval with your participation because they are the ones who decide in the end who is going to participate in every regional in the country. Keep in mind, we have 18 regionals, and we have applications from all 18 regionals. So again, INAFOCAN will be sending the database to your region. So you should come to your regional office or your district office. I strongly recommend that you contact your regional supervisor, los técnicos regionales de inglés in every region. You should actually address them, contact them, and let them know that you registered and verify that you are one of those who has the approval to participate in the program, but it's meant to begin the first week in June. Though the introductory presentation will be on June 28th and July 5th will be the first class. Okay, any more questions? Hands? Comments? Just turn on your microphone and go ahead, please, if you have any question. See? Feel free to turn on your microphone, ask questions, or make any comment.
I think Leiby.
Yeah, Leiby? We have Kenya, Ramona, and Leiby. Please turn on your microphones and feel free to do it.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Hi, Professor. I would like to know about the schedule of these formations. So what day we're going to take these formations and how many hours do we need to dedicate it to these capacitation formations?
Okay, to this training. Laura, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Well, the class will run on Mondays, los lunes y los jueves, Monday and Thursday, 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the evening. And so you want to be sure that you are available, free, at a computer, ready to participate los lunes, los jueves, a partir de las 5 hasta las 8, okay? From June 28th to August 12th. And I can put that in the chat too.
Sure.
However, there will be work outside of that. So let's say we meet and we have our session and we talk. Then you want to go and you probably need to post an idea or share a resource or complete a lesson plan. So there will be application work outside of the time that we are online. So that is though the schedule. So in your mind, you would have to know Monday and Thursday, 5 to 8 o'clock for those 7 weeks is how the schedule will be. And I'll put it in the chat now too.
Sure. So synchronous classes will be Mondays and Thursdays from 5 to 8. Asynchronous sessions will vary, and you'll have to dedicate from 3 to 4 hours a week of asynchronous work on lesson plans and other items and tasks that the program brings about. But synchronous classes will be Mondays and Thursdays again from 5 to 8, from June 28th to August 12th, basically. But again, you need to have at least 6 hours of synchronous work every week, and attendance is mandatory. Now, the asynchronous tasks you can complete throughout the week. Mm-hmm. The question is, do we need to tell our technician, our supervisor, that we signed up? Yes, Jocasta, address your supervisor. INAFOCAM will be sending the list to every regional. I don't know if Luis is with us, and Luis, who is actually part of INAFOCAM, if he would like to make it clearer. But anyway, INAFOCAM will be addressing this with your regional office, but you need to contact your regional office, and they are the ones who will have the database, and you need to work it out with them. Again, we have over 500 applicants, and the program can only actually cover 300 scholarships. Please, questions? Any more questions? Any more comments? Just turn on your microphone and go ahead, please. Let's see who else. Now, I want to make it also very clear. This is a very serious program. And since we have more than 500 applicants, if you finally decide to participate, please make sure that you will go through the program entirely, all 7 weeks. Because when you take a position in this program, other people are staying out. So if you finally become part of the program, please make sure that you will complete it, because then other people will have missed it with far more commitment if you don't. So I strongly recommend that you please commit to the program Mondays and Thursdays from 5 to 8. Rosanna raised her hand. Please go ahead. Just turn on your microphone. Teacher Rosanna, if you have a question. And before Rosanna goes ahead, Ricardo asks, how will we know if we have been selected? Basically, your regional office will tell you, because the regional office has a database. You address your supervisors at the regional office, they will have the database, and you work it out with them, and they will let you know right away. If you are if you are an active teacher from the Ministry of Education, you have all the right to participate. So I don't think there's any more problem with that. You just need to address your supervisors and make sure you're part of the database of those who are going to participate. Rosanna, please go ahead with your question. You can just turn on your microphone. Before that, Janet Luperon. Janet, go ahead. I have actually unmuted you. Janet and Rosanna, go ahead with your questions, please. Just turn on your microphone, Rosanna and Janet. Go ahead, Janet.
Okay. So it was the same question I was going to ask. How will we know if we were selected? So you answered before I ask.
All righty. So basically, INAFOCAM sends the database with those who have applied for the program, and you have to make sure you qualify, basically. You know that in order to get a scholarship for INAFOCAM, there are certain requirements you have to fulfill. You have to be an active teacher, that is. You have to have the time and make a commitment. Keep in mind that this is money from the people of the Dominican Republic. If you get a scholarship from INAFOCAM, it is a commitment to complete it because it's an investment that the state is making in your professional development. So since, again, we have so many applicants, and this is a great opportunity, I want to make sure that everybody who applies for the program and joins the program actually has a commitment to complete it and go through it all 7 weeks. It is not a long program, but it's going to require real commitment because it's actually 3 hours of synchronous work twice a week, plus the asynchronous work, which is at least 3 or 4 more hours of independent work. But I don't think it's more of a challenge for you. Rosanna, please, you can go ahead now.
Hello, everybody. I want to know, first of all, if you are going to...
I'm sorry, we cannot hear you. Can you speak louder? Louder, please.
Okay. I want to know if you are going to receive a diploma.
Yes, there's going to be a certificate from Hunter College, INAFOCAM, and Professional Training Systems. Both. I mean, it's going to be a dual certification program.
Okay. I want to make a comment. Maybe we can have an opportunity to share our knowledge with other teachers that will not have the opportunity to take that course.
Well, I can tell you something. The next school year is going to be, again, a blended learning approach. The Dominican Republic actually cannot afford at this moment to receive all its students presentially. Dominican schools won't be able to welcome everybody presentially. So we, again, will have to have a blended learning approach to public education, which means that it's going to be going to school twice a week only, so that it's blended learning. And that is going to require all the English teachers in the Dominican Republic to take this training eventually. So you are possibly the first 300 who will take it. But if this next school year is going to be the same way, that is blended, half of the class online or on a distance education model and half of the class presentially, what they call the semi-presential model, which is what actually we can forecast, then most people will have to take this training eventually. So yes, this is just a start. And again, we have addressed the issue with the Ministry of Education. The next school year, we are expecting a real solution to English language teaching and learning in public education. And this program gives them the chance to improve and make it real. This program actually is meant to run all throughout the school year from a different perspective, because we have over 4,000 active English teachers in public schools, and this program is only for 300. But all the English teachers in the country need to get a training like this so that they can learn how to teach online or on a distance education program. Because the next school year is definitely going to be blended. It's going to be hybrid. There is no way that all of our 2.7 million students will go back to schools presentially. So teachers do need to take a training like this nationwide. Unfortunately, we cannot host more than 300 at a time. But our aspiration is that everybody take this training eventually throughout the upcoming school year. Daniela Rosario, please go ahead with your questions and comments. If you have any questions for Dr. Laura Backer, this is a good time too.
I just wanted to add on just one thing to that comment. I think it's a really good idea too, to emphasize that the last session of this course is going to be a showcase event where we are going to be posting and sharing the lessons and units for teaching online that you will develop. And that's going to become a resource for the public that other teachers can use. And hopefully we create an online library repository for these teaching approaches, so that they'll be there for you and they'll be there for others, and we can continue to grow. And it's a great place to have a sense of community, because sometimes maybe you're the only English teacher in your school. So it's hard to share ideas and plans and resources. So this is a chance to share with your wider community. So there will be access to what you create.
Actually, there's going to be a repository with all the materials we develop and those that you develop. However, my point of view, because unfortunately, I have to say fortunately, since I am the executive director of Dominican Republic TESOL, my aspirations are getting all Dominican teachers what they deserve. And all Dominican teachers deserve to take a training like this. But this is just the beginning. It's basically what we hope. And now, fortunately, we have people inside in AFOCAM who support this movement. I must be straightforward. For this program, we have tried to do for 2 years, and it was not approved until now. So the people who are now directing in AFOCAM, both the director of continuing education and his assistant, are fully aware of the need to develop English language teaching and learning in the Dominican Republic. And this is going to help us a lot, because I guess that now we will have the support that we deserve. Daniela, please go ahead.
Yes, I would like to know when we should speak to the regional
Supervisors?
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay.
My
Thanks.
advice, since there are so many applicants, my advice is that you address your supervisors as soon as possible, because they should know. Julia Sierra is asking whether we are going to share the schedule. Yes, once the program begins, we're going to have everything shared, because we cannot share the program information just now, because INAFOCAN needs to decide who in the end is going to participate. INAFOCAN is the institution responsible for the schedule. We cannot share any information until after INAFOCAN has officially commenced the program. That's how it works. And they will actually, what I strongly recommend anyway, is that you address your supervisors, because they should know that you have registered and that you are interested. You should show them your interest and your commitment to taking this program. Yes, please. Any more questions? Go ahead. I see a lot of raised hands. Just turn on your microphones and go ahead, please. Please, you can do it anytime. Lorena Beltre from San Juan, from Azua. Well, that's the South region. It's great to have Lorena Beltre around. Go ahead, Lorena. You can ask your question now.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me correctly, Mr.?
Absolutely. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Well, I've been able to participate in many programs that usually focus in teaching English for secondary grades. Will this program be a little different? I mean, I'm a primary school teacher, and I feel that we have been forgotten. So,
absolutely, absolutely. Keep in mind
Yes.
that the name of this course is Teaching English Online for School-Age Students. School-age means preschool, primary, and high school. School-age students is a whole, it's called a PK program, preschool through high school. So it's a PK. You see, PK through 12, basically. It's a PK 12 program. It's actually its classification. So it covers all that you need to teach throughout the school program. High school shouldn't actually be a focus of a program in the end, in my opinion, because these programs are meant to be for all the teachers. And now our country includes English language learning from 4th to 12th grade. So whatever program is given should actually cover all 9 grades that teach English in Dominican public schools. Please, any more questions? Go ahead. This is great. I love your questions. I love your comments. We want to hear from you. I love to see how committed you are to improving professionally. David Hernandez has is it a little step in developing English DR? A big step for the Dominican? Okay, good. David Henriquez says that this is a big step, though it is a small group. Okay. Any more? Please go ahead. Your comments, your questions. I see Deputy Serviaitis is so committed to this that she's actually taking the phone to her car, and she's following up on this from her car. Thank you, Congresswoman. Thank you, Serviaitis. Okay, please go ahead. Any more comments, questions? All right. So yeah, Rafael Reyes says, are the skills that we are going to be taught also applicable to face-to-face lessons? Yes, of course. We are talking about the principles of English language learning and teaching. I don't know if you remember my presentation for TESOL 2020, actually, but I said that teaching online is not about technology, it's about pedagogy. Technology is a means to an end. But the principles that you have to keep in mind are basically pedagogical principles, whether it is presentially or online. So yes, what you are going to learn is definitely going to be applicable to presential classes, to school-based learning and teaching. However, we need to highlight what can and must be done from an instructional design perspective, because this is actually not just about teaching and learning from theory. This is going to be about instructional design. How do you use what you know about teaching and learning to do it on a distance education model, to do it, be it through radio, television, or on the internet? But again, the principles of English language learning are the same. So yes, the answer to your question is that they are completely applicable to your classes in the classroom presentially. Please, any more questions, comments, go ahead. Just turn off your microphone or raise your hand and feel free to go ahead and ask your questions and comments. Alejandro, Wilkie, let's see. More questions, please, comments. Let's see, I'm going down on the chat box. So many. But anyway, go ahead. Okay, Josefina, raise your hand. Okay, good. Josefina, I just unmuted you. Go ahead. Just turn off your mic, Josefina.
Okay, good morning. I mean, good
evening. Good evening. Good evening.
Sorry. The thing is that I want to know if we have to know a lot of English to be part of this group, because I have some friends of mine that they want to be part of this group, to this group, and they don't know a lot of English, but they want to be part of it.
Well, I can tell you something. At this moment, all the applications have been filled. So if they want to register for the program, they will have to wait for the next program. Now, in terms of the language proficiency level you're required to take this program, I strongly advise that it be at least an A2 in the Common European Framework Language Reference, which is an intermediate level of English. You have listened to Dr. Laura Backer. Her English is completely comprehensible. And I mean, anyone with a basic level of English can actually comprehend and understand what Laura actually says. And she is going to be the main professor. She's going to be the lecturer for the whole program. So she's extremely comprehensible. If you want a perfect definition for comprehensible input, that's Laura. You can actually comprehend whatever she says. So yes, but anyway, unfortunately, at this moment, most applications have been filled, so they would need to wait. We are going to be offering another program, which is basically on developing language proficiency later on within AFOCAN at the beginning of the school year, so they'll be able to join us. And again, this program is going to be offered again throughout the school year, we hope. Laura, do you have anything to say about that question?
No, I think I'm glad I'm comprehensible. I've been teaching ESL for a long time. So I think I do find that sometimes, to be honest, sometimes when you have a trainer like me, who's, a native English speaker, sometimes when you're a second language speaker of English, you feel somehow, I'm a little afraid to participate, or even though the focus is on teaching, you still feel your English, maybe your colleagues are going to look at you or judge you. And I think that's going to be very, very important that we really make sure everyone feels very comfortable, and that this is not there's no grade I'm going to give at all, but I'm not giving any grades on your English level. But I am aware that you are also maybe a little shyer, or maybe not so confident with the speaking. So we're going to make sure to do lots of activities that you can use with your students, but at the same time, you will be having fun practicing and using your English. And that when native speakers are not better teachers, some of us are good teachers, some of us are not so good. And actually, people who learned English as a second language are often better teachers, because you understand the challenge of English, and you understand Spanish. So it helps you a lot when you're working with your students. So I see it as a resource, an asset, a strength that you are that you're coming to this knowing the language of your students. Remember, I teach in New York City. I have a class of 30 students and I have 30 languages. So I don't know the languages of all my students. So it can be very challenging, but you know the languages, so it's a great advantage. So we will build on that. And so, yes, your colleagues, though, who may not participate this time, sounds like maybe next time they
Yes.
can also participate.
Thank you, Laura. Yocasta Batista, Saidenia Rodriguez, and Janet Luperon, please go ahead with your questions.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Saidenia, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Do I start or I start?
Saidenia starts. Saidenia starts. Right.
Okay. My question is if the teacher that asks for that program, the regional is who is going to choose any specific teachers to participate.
If you register, for example, Saidenia, which region are you from? Where are you from exactly?
From 09.
Okay, so you address your supervisor. She will have the contact and you can actually talk to her. You know your supervisor, right?
Okay, yes.
So
yes.
just address your supervisor and I'm sure that she will tell you basically what you need to know. You see? Because
Okay.
you can also just address her. We had a lot, you know Milagros Ventura from Bonao?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So you address Milagros Ventura, she's a supervisor in Bonao, or
Yes.
just contact your regional supervisor if there's anybody else, and they will give you the information. Of course, they need to get it first from INAFOCAM. Teachers
Yes.
from Santiago need to address Raymond Rodriguez and Martin Almanzar, for example.
She is who direct in Avocan here in Mao too.
Oh, great. So basically, if she's the one, then I would strongly suggest that you contact her because INAFOCAM will be sending the database. But again, it is INAFOCAM's decision through your regional office.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Janet Luperon, and then Yocasta Batista, if you have a question. Janet, go ahead.
Yes, no, it's not a question. I was going to make a comment.
Yes.
From INAFOCAN, they were calling on Friday to make sure about the information we gave on the registration. For example,
Okay.
about the cell phone, the Gmail, the email address. In my case, they called me to ask me about my email address, to confirm my email address. I don't know if they call anybody else.
Okay, but if that is the case, it's okay. But again, I strongly recommend that you address the regional supervisor and express that you have registered for the program. Again, INAFOCAM will be sending the database to all the regional offices. And I will be in touch with INAFOCAM to find out when all regional offices have already received it. So I will address it to you too. I will actually send you messages on WhatsApp, on the WhatsApp groups that we have, and you will be aware when INAFOCAM has sent the database to each and every regional. You know, Luis is part of INAFOCAM and he's from the field, and I will be in touch with him to find out that all the regionals have already gotten the database and then let you know about it. Anybody else has a question? Anybody about the program? Does anybody else have a question? Does anybody else have any comment or question or idea? Luis Manuel, go ahead. You raised your hand.
Okay, hello, good evening. My name is Luis Manuel, as you see, and my question is about this course. I don't know if I can call it that because sometimes I get nervous. But my question is, when I finish this, because I'm gonna finish, what advantage I'm gonna have when I finish this?
Basically, you will have gotten the skills to teach all 4 language skills online and develop also your teaching skills. What you need to get from this program is basically, as Laura stated, the techniques to teach English on a distance education program. This course is basically about the nature of teaching and learning online, which has not been addressed in this country since the pandemic began. You all know that after the pandemic began, students have been receiving booklets, and these booklets only include science, mathematics, and Spanish. They do not include English. So I wonder, what are you doing now? English teachers, how can you teach online? How can you teach by WhatsApp? How much connection is there between the classes on television and the classes that you teach? Do you have the skills? Well, you need to get the training. So what you will learn basically here is how to use what you know about teaching and learning in a distance education model, and how to improve your teaching on a distance education model as well. Because the next school year will definitely have to be on a distance education model. Janet again, or Edwin Alberto, you raise your hand.
No, sir.
Okay. Edwin raised his hand.
Hello, Juan. How are you?
I'm good. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. So my question is, Juan, you know, I texted you last Monday, and I was not able to fill out the form on time since I thought the deadline was Monday. So I texted you, you sent me your secretary's number, and I talked to her. So I want to know
Then you have signed up. A lot of people contacted me because they were not able to register. If you contacted me, then you are part of the program because you are part of the database. Everyone who called me on Monday asking to be part of it already got it. So please turn off your microphone now, Edwin, because there's some background noise. Thank you. Okay, please, more questions. Again, this program will be referred to your regional offices. I must insist on the fact that we have over 500 applicants, and there are only 300 scholarships. So make sure to contact your regional office and express that you have registered for the program. Contact your regional supervisor because the official registration is done at the regional. What we did was collecting your interest on a database and collecting your applications to confirm that this program was feasible, that this program was a need, and that you actually decided to do it. So Eridania Rodriguez, you have a question now. Please raise, now you can just turn on your microphone.
Okay, good evening. I'm so happy to be participating in this important meeting. I want to thank you, Mr. Valdez, because I've been following your program, your, how can I say, okay, your ideas that are excellent for public schools regarding the English language teaching, because I know that is an excellent benefit, not only for the students, but even for the country, Dominican Republic. Because I can say that when I finished high school, I was already bilingual, but the problem is I just learned the basic of the language in a language institute. My mother made a great effort to send me to an institute, but many students don't have the opportunity. And as an English teacher, I would like to be part of this program because I think that I'd like to contribute to make this dream come true.
Basically, this is just the idea. That's just what we are looking for. Listen, I've always said in some TV interviews that the system makes the teacher. It's not the other way around. If this country wants better English teachers, we need to have programs like this. And this is what's going to make you better. Practice makes perfect. Your English may not be perfect, but the way to develop it is basically by practicing it. I mean, most teachers, people who go to college and learn English and become English language teaching professionals, they in the end suffer from linguistic fossilization because they lose the language skills because they're never able to practice it with their students at schools. They have no one to talk to. So these kind of programs help you maintain your language skills and develop them as well. Laura was very clear in advising you not to shy away from the program because you may feel that your English is not the best. The best way to improve your English is in practice, and this is actual practice. This is not teaching. This is learning in English, not only teaching English. And this is going to help you develop your skills. And our goal, in the end, this program is only part of a big effort we've been working on for the last 20 years. I can see people here who have been around this effort, like Guadalupe, Conrado, and I see people who started this project with us. I can see Wendy Carbonell. I can see so many people who started with us 18 years ago on this effort. And they have improved throughout the years. And they have worked on it throughout the years. So this program, it's basically just a continuation of a big effort that's going to keep going. But we need to raise awareness in the Dominican people that English is an important subject. And then there must be a space like this to help English teachers develop their skills. Keep in mind that the level of English required in the Dominican public school system is only a high intermediate level by the end of high school. So as we progress in helping our students develop their language skills, teachers will also progress on developing their own. But we need to get started. You see? And this is basically what we are talking about. And we have to keep going. And I am truly honored and honestly excited to see how many of you have actually joined this program. When we launched the application, I was not sure that so many people would be interested. And I always say, you know, I have a radio program, and I always question that teacher continuing education programs must be based on a diagnostic. And for me, the best diagnostic, the best needs analysis for this program is the 500 applicants who actually required it and applied for it. Wendy Carbonell, you have a question. Please go ahead and turn on your mic.
Hello, it's not a question, it's just to send to you, Mr. Valdez, and send Laura Baker to give the opportunity to learn more and say that I'm ready to know, to keep in touch, to put in practice everything I learn in these classes, and try to do the better, and you know, and everybody here in this group, I know that they are ready to be better and to give the best for our students.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Wendy. I can tell you, I started working with public schools 17 years ago, and I actually came from universities and rich bilingual schools. I had a very different idea about public school teachers. And honestly, I was enamored with public schools teachers when I started working with them in 2007, because I was shocked on how committed and how interested English language teachers in this country are for their professional development and in becoming better. So this is the path to take. The best way to grow professionally is continuing education. And this program is basically that. So I would like to thank you all once again for joining us tonight. Laura, Deputy Serviairis Familia, Luis from Inafocan as well, who's with us tonight, and all of you who have joined us tonight. This is just the beginning of a big effort that is going to end up in a bilingual Dominican Republic in 8 or 12 more years. But the first step is now being taken, and we're going to make it. It's only one life. It's only one chance at life, and we have to take the best out of it. And this is the way to do it. Thank you all very much. I'm really proud of you. And again, Laura, Diputada Serviairis Familia, Luis from Inafocan, and all my friends I can see on the screen. I can't just say all their names, but thank you all for joining us tonight. Have a good night, and then we'll keep in touch. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.